What's happening? What's happening, good people? Uh, it has been a minute, I know, and I do understand that it has taken me some time to kind of be back in this situation where I've been like live streaming and stuff. Uh, but I feel like I should start this by actually apologizing in a way for having gone without a trace and stuff like that because I've been gone for quite some time, and that's only because I've been going through a lot myself. It hasn't been that pleasant on me and all of that. And again, I had to kind of move away from where I was staying because I had spent some time back home for quite some time. That's where I was like to find a new place and then just move away from home because it was detrimental in a way. It was free, yes, but it was just detrimental to me and my creative process as a whole, to a point whereby I wouldn't say I ran out of ideas, but I kind of lost inspiration. Then I had to pause on the live broadcasts that I was doing and all of that. But I figured that I should just try, by any means to get this channel back active again. Which is honestly one of the hardest things that I had to do, because the first thing that I had to do was to kind of find a space that's like allowing, in a way, that would allow me to be as creative as I want to be, you know. So I finally moved away from where I was, uh, because I was basically in Zeerust. So I moved away from Zeerust and came straight to Pretoria. Been here for uh, I don't know, since probably the 1st of April. Yeah, I came here in April. Then I've just been trying to get to know my area, trying to network, trying to build a communication network, in a way, if I may put it. I think that's the simpler term that I could do it. But that's not like that's not all. A lot has been happening, but I believe that it's better if we just talk about it on in future. It would be best if we talk about it in future, because I could like take the whole day with this, and I'm not trying to do that today. But firstly, the live streams will be a little bit more consistent now. uh there's a lot of ideas that I have, or based on how I'm going to move forward, the live streams that I'm going to do, the type of videos that I'm going to do, because I'm trying to do different approaches to this whole content creation thing. uh Firstly, I was all about entertainment. Then from there, I went directly to doing sports videos. But after sports videos, I tried to do like opinions and everything else. So having done that, kind of, I've just been all over the place. That's because it was just hard for me to decide if I wanted to only do sports content, or if I should do reactions, if I should do entertainment, which is one of the detrimental things that I did. So I just figured that it would be nice to just do whatever I feel like doing, and not box in any box myself up anyhow. So yeah, and the to in today's video, I want us to talk more about this whole situation, in short, this whole BRICS and America controversy. It's just a lot. That's a lot of mostly negativity that's surrounding this whole conversation. And most of the negativity that I've seen surrounding this is mainly from social media. I don't know why social media is kind of feeding me this uh, videos which are against this whole, what should I call it, this whole situation. So uh they say that it was made, or rather founded, back in 2009. It was established in 2009 by Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Uh, and it was created as a platform to discuss economical issues and corporations. And it's very interesting since we have different countries, with very different backgrounds, with very different ruling and economic systems coming together for. I feel like this whole thing, it'll benefit Africans more. So hence I post before I say coming together for the interest of Africa. You know, we do know that at the end of the day, a lot of people are gonna benefit. It's that one is it's straightforward. We know that there's a lot of parties that are gonna benefit from this whole situation, and we know that the other countries which are involved are gonna benefit also. But if we look at it from another perspective, uh, we can say, for an example, we know how important this will be for South Africa. For an example, just look at our biggest situation right now, which is the issue of potholes, roads, and stuff like that. Infrastructure, if in short, just infrastructure, the whole infrastructure situation in particular. So this partnership is a platform for us to kind of like, it's a platform to boost all of that. Sorry, it's a platform to improve, rather, all of those aspects, mainly infrastructure. And I believe for a minute there, the technology, Carl, we should also include technology. We know that China is a major innovator when it comes to technology, and their technology is top tier, and it's top notch. Like, you get it. So us being involved with such countries in this particular situation will enable us to have access to whatever they have. Anyway, let's say there happens to be a war tomorrow, then we can get aid from Russia, which is like one of the biggest superpowers in the country at the moment. So it'll benefit us, though there is, the downside of things. We know that Africa is is the biggest supplier of raw materials. So, but it's not that bad. I feel like we do stand to lose either way. But one thing that makes me happy about this whole situation is that we don't have to see America being the superpower, because I still honestly don't understand how America has managed to stay as the superpower for such a long time, considering the fact that I don't see what their economy is backed by. We know that they have the internet. I don't know if they established the internet on and all and sorts, but I don't see how and why it's still so powerful compared to a lot of economies in Africa. I mean, we supply the world with a whole lot of raw materials, but there was a particular article that I read a few days ago. It talked about how America kind of, uh, how Nigerian naira is almost, the worth is very low at this point. That article was saying that America approached Nigeria in, and then asked them to, I don't know, to kind of lower the value or something, because it was said that the Nigerian naira was actually, emerging and all of that. So America had to make means to get it down and stuff like that. Hence now it's so low, and we still have America dominating over Africa with economy, and we have American dollar being used in trade everywhere, which is something that I don't get, honestly. But it's politics. Like I said, I don't understand what the American dollar is backed by. Uh, they don't. I think now they do. They have oil, most probably, but we have minerals here. We have raw materials, but yet we really struggle with just trying to standing out. We struggle with standing out, which is something that I don't understand. So I had to like kind of research and see, man, exactly why is America this powerful. And I had a conversation recently with somebody, and then he was like, America has all the entertainment in the world. Like, it has power in the media, it has power with entertainment and all of that. But I was like, if that's the case, though, uh, why does it keep like growing? And then what about us? We always struggle against the South African dollar, which is something that I fail to understand. We are backed by diamonds, we are backed by gold, uh, we are backed, I don't know what else, but we are just backed by a lot of things. So, my excitement, honestly, with this whole situation is just that America won't be as powerful as it has always been, which is something that I've always wanted to happen. I'm very happy that America won't be as powerful. I'm not all about the. I'm not being as. I'm not being. How should I put it? I'm not hating, you know, but I just feel like America should be dethroned for a little bit of time, because it has been a minute, and I'm just not understanding how America stays this powerful. Yes, they have the media, but it's not enough. So although this whole thing is uh this whole thing is nice, there might be some downsides. For an example, let's say there is a disagreement, or there is a challenge to kind of come up with a decision. That's something that could come up and potentially lead to conflict over other trade matters and uh policies. So let's just hope that this whole thing works out. I'm just being positive, as positive as I may be. You know, I'm just being as positive as I may be. But there's also that issue of disagreements and all of that. Let's just hope that doesn't arise in the process. But even if it does arise, I just hope it doesn't lead to the whole situation of Russia and uh, what's this country? Whatever country there, or Ukraine, yeah. I hope it doesn't lead to the whole issue of Russia and Ukraine, because I believe that started over a disagreement also. So if we just being hopeful, but this is one thing that I personally applaud our current government for pulling, for making happen. Uh, it will definitely benefit us a lot as Africans. It will also benefit the countries that are involved that are not Africans, because they will get access to a lot of things at a very reasonable price. But anyways, BRICS can also impact America in a few ways. You know, I've spoke about how they are trying to devalue the dollar and all of that. Uh, but their collaboration can influence global trade and finance, potentially affecting American business and markets. If they work together on policies or initiatives, it might change the dynamics of international relations. The extent of the impact can, vary depending on specific issues and agreements they focus on. Uh, it depends, that it can impact America in a lot of ways, honestly. But I just want to see the de-dollarization issue. Just want to see the de-dollarization issue happening. This is one thing that I've waited a long time to see. Uh, America has been so powerful, and that's because a lot of countries are scared to stand up to it. But us having Russia in this whole chapter, uh, I just hope it doesn't backfire anyways, but let me just move on. Um, so uh, a lot of people have posted videos saying that BRICS is a threat to democracy and all of that. I don't understand why the media always does this. It's always the situation of, it's always how they handle things. Every time there is like an opportunity for other countries that are not America, the media will, like, they'll feed you with this information. I understand why they do that, but they will feed you with this information that's like contradictory in a way. Uh, that's like contradicting the whole situation. But these are some of the videos that have been posted. Feel like we should check out. I think this is quite interesting. I haven't done commentary in a long time, you know, not that good at it, but anyways, we're just gonna try today, I guess. How do I do that? I hope I don't get copyrighted.
The United States of America and the US dollar system will be challenged by the BRICS expansion. Whether BRICS succeeds or not, that's up for debate. Please let me know your opinion in the comments down below. I want to update you on what happened at the BRICS Summit. I want you to know what is going on and the significance.
The the summit was held in, I don't know, in South Africa recently, this past week. Uh, so we'll just see what the outcomes are at this point. But it was held in South Africa, in Johannesburg. It has been going on. I actually have an event pending to attend the discussion on Thursday. I'm not sure if I will do, but a bunch of journalists will be there. I don't know who else will be there. But yeah, let's just hear what he has to say.
So the story starts like this. 14 years ago, a group of 4 countries formed an alliance. Brazil, Russia, India, and China, the BRIC. So that's how they started. They invited South Africa in 2010, and then they formed to be BRICS. So these countries have a goal. Their goal is to reshuffle the world order. Basically, it all boils down to this. They don't like how the United States has all this power and influence across the globe.
Yeah, there's one thing that we agree on, me and whoever this guy is, or who with BRICS. I don't like the power that America has. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense to have only one country being as powerful. Doesn't, honestly. But anyways, moving on.
So when it comes to the United States of America and the US dollar system, influence shall continue to grow. China's President Xi Jinping said, "This expansion is historic, and BRICS shall unite and cooperate." India's Prime Minister Modi said, "These new countries will help strengthen BRICS and its international influence." Okay, so BRICS is adding the world's biggest oil producers, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Iran.
Yeah, as I did mention before that, having BRICS in this whole having BRICS will benefit us in a positive way. Just to get the oil prices at the moment, the I think South Africa has one of the highest prices at this point because petrol is very expensive here. But just imagine the impact that having Saudi Arabia involved in this whole situation could potentially have for South Africa. I feel like I still stand on my word that this will be one of the biggest situations that that we might ever get involved in.
And you may immediately think that BRICS is trying to undermine or jeopardize the US petrodollar. So across the world, oil is traded in US dollars, at least the vast majority. And BRICS maybe trying to undo this?
Yeah, because America is not the biggest supplier of oil, which doesn't make sense to me why it has to be traded in their dollar. But there's one thing that I feel like that I don't understand. I'll never actually understand why. But anyways, I guess it has started. It's a very long story that we have to go way back to understand. But it's not only about not liking America. It's about not understanding the power that it has over all these other countries. Even though it's not the biggest supplier of anything. No, it's the biggest contributor to the entertainment. We get it, but it's not the biggest contributor in trade, particularly.
And if the petrodollar system goes, then it's going to be a slippery slope for the US dollar in international trade.
Yeah, and there was also the building towards the whole BRICS Summit recently. I think it was last week Thursday, if I'm not wrong. I stand to be corrected. We saw the American rand gaining a little bit of strength over the American dollar, and it was just building up towards the event. Imagine what could happen if this like continues, you know.
So ultimately, this all boils down to a power struggle. That's what's happening. So the majority of international trade is done in US dollars, and the majority of international reserves are held in US dollars. Many countries want to move away from the system because this is very advantageous to the US. So the question is, how big of a threat is BRICS to the United States of America and the US dollar system? So we're talking about de-dollarization.
Yeah. I think this is the most interesting part to me. That's he explains it way better than I could have, done. Anyhow, he does explain this better. So this is like one of the interesting parts of this video, according to me. The impacts. I don't know the impacts to the dollar. Maybe that's just something that I missed there. So it's always better to kind of seek other opinions and facts. It's a fact.
Okay, but I think that we can all agree that if it is a threat in the first place, then
No, it is a threat to the dollar, not if. Just
it's going to take a while. It'll take many years for de-dollarization to occur. So I hope that's fair enough. I hope that we can agree on that. But that's the thing. Nobody's making the argument that BRICS or any other fiat currency is going to replace the dollar overnight. It's a question of, will this become a growing threat and should this be taken seriously?
If you want to take
there's an ad right there. So this is very simple, honestly. I think he just doesn't want. Maybe he might be American in a way, or he's just being factual. But uh, it should be a threat, and it will, it will de-dollarize the dollar, if I said that correctly. But it's gonna take some time, as he said. It's gonna take some time because America is not just gonna take this line down. That's one thing for sure. It's not gonna be that simple for it to, really lose its influence on the world and the world trade. So it's gonna take some time, but it will happen eventually. It will happen. But I just hope it doesn't happen. It doesn't cause anything, new war and stuff.
It reminds me of the story of BlackBerry versus Apple's iPhone. So I don't know if any of you watching had a Nokia.
In this particular situation, the American dollar is the BlackBerry and BRICS is the Apple iPhone.
Or a Motorola or a BlackBerry back in the day. So I'm talking about cell phones. So I had a Nokia. I also had a BlackBerry as well. So when the first generation iPhone came out, it was all the rave with the nerds. And the executive team at BlackBerry had a meeting to address.
Yeah, it's something interesting. He said that it was all the rave with the nets, just like right now the whole BRICS and everything is quite interesting to the economists and people who are well informed in the space of politics. So I think it's building up to something here.
The iPhone. One executive pulled out an iPhone and said that this is our competition. This is Apple's iPhone. The geeks are going crazy about this phone. Should we be concerned? Another BlackBerry executive asked, how much of the markets does iPhone have? The executive answered, the iPhone represents less than 1% of all cell phones sold.
Yeah, which is something different with BRICS because uh, what the stats that I saw, they said BRICS makes up around 42%. I think if I'm not wrong, they say BRICS makes up around 42% of uh, the world's population. So it's a way bigger influence compared to the I do get the example that he's making, but BRICS has way bigger influence compared to that. But I feel like it's still an interesting narrative that we should keep on watching.
Then all the executives agreed that that's too small to be concerned about, that it doesn't pose a challenge, it doesn't pose a threat. So they
Yeah, at least I don't think America has spoken up. I mean, like the American government has spoken up already. They have replied about BRICS and all of that. If it's a threat to them, but I do know that a lot of Americans have done that. One video in particular that I saw recently was of a lady who was saying that if this happens, then it will really impact the rent and their mortgages and stuff like that. So let's go.
decided to do nothing about it. They failed to act and change their ways, and BlackBerry ended up losing control of the situation. So the takeaway is that the US dollar system is already in jeopardy. And that's because of the bad fiscal policy set by the politicians, because of bad monetary policy set by the Federal Reserve. And I want to clarify, the Federal Reserve is not federal, it's not a part of the government, it's a private organization, and they have no reserves. So the name Federal Reserve is a misnomer, so don't be fooled by the name. But anyways, the dollar system, with this whole worthless fiat currency, it's not a good system, but it's the best option of all the terrible fiat currencies out there.
It's just paper, as I was saying. I don't understand the influence that it has because I feel like it's just paper, Joe. It's just paper. It's worthless to me. It doesn't carry much power. Hence, I don't understand why it has all this power and stuff like that. Like it's basically just money printed and that's it.
On whether BRICS and this expansion will pose a serious challenge to the US dollar system. One perspective is no, BRICS will not. One argument is that BRICS cannot be taken seriously as a contender to the US dollar. So let's address the petrodollar situation.
I don't understand how he says BRICS should not be taken as a threat as to the dollar. I think I'll just have to keep watching to understand because I don't see how it's not a threat to the US dollar. So let's just okay, it was just an ad right there since I'm watching on YouTube. Hope I don't get flagged. None of that. So let's just go back to the video.
Because I don't want people to automatically jump to conclusions. I want you to consider this. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, but consider this. One perspective is that people are misunderstanding the petrodollar situation. The petrodollar system was created in the 1970s when the US was more dependent on oil from the Mideast. But right now, the United States has become energy independent, or at least close to it. In other words, the US needs the Mideast less and less. Therefore, if the petrodollar system goes away, that would be a success story of the United States. It would not be damage. So some people are saying that the narrative is being twisted because China has become more dependent on the Saudis and the Russians for oil, and they're trying to twist the story as if that this is a display of US weakness. So that's another perspective on the situation, because I know a lot of people will automatically assume that if the petrodollar system disintegrates, then that's going to be a major hit for the US dollar. But others are saying actually not so much. Another argument is how decentralized and scattered BRICS is. So listen, I want to put this into perspective for you. There are 27 countries in the European Union. It's difficult for them to agree on many things. We're talking about military spending, NATO. You saw it for yourself how they disagreed on how to handle trade with Russia.
Yeah, this might be one thing that I never thought of. It is decentralized, but I don't think that could be a really big barrier in a way. Uh, Obviously, they do have different governments, but for the mere fact that this is a summit and they do meet up to discuss these issues, I feel like they could find a common ground in a way. So I don't believe that decentralization, it being decentralized, is one of the biggest challenges. It's not really a big challenge, honestly. And the thing about the other European countries is that a lot of them are too entitled to a point whereby they feel like they have power and they wanna, you know, once you're dealing with countries that are all powerful, everybody wants their opinion to be the one that's best. We know that, like, it's just general knowledge that if you are with your friends who are all smart in a way, they'll all want to voice out their opinions and they would want to be heard over the ones who are a bit uh how should I put, a bit of a majority, you know. So it's just I feel like it's an exercise of power, you know. Whereas I don't think that would be the case with BRICS. But we never know anyways. Let me not just count my chicks, my chickens before they hatch. I hope I used that correctly.
Now imagine Brazil and Russia and China and India trying to coordinate major decisions. So that's going to be difficult. And I want to point out, look at China and look at India, for example. It's not like they're the best of friends. China and India have been fighting with one another. Their armies have been fighting with one another at the border. In
Yeah, but I do feel like this whole situation can become like a common ground for them to kind of discuss their actual issues and all of that. I feel like it can be solved. I don't believe that, there is something that a simple conversation cannot fix. They might have been fighting for quite some time, but this platform creates an opportunity for them to kind of settle whatever issue they might have in order to move forward, There's always a bigger picture in everything.
2020, they had a skirmish. 20 Indian soldiers died, 4 Chinese soldiers died. They continued to battle in 2021, 2022, and they just had a skirmish a few months ago.
Honestly, I don't see how that is one of the big, how is that is a threat to BRICS. But anyways,
So you can see the video clips for yourself. At the line of actual control, which is the disputed territory, the Chinese army and the Indian army are arguing with one another in broken English. So it's crazy. They're fighting over lands, over water, over territory for the Belt and Road Initiative. But for the photo ops, for BRICS, you would never suspect that any of that is occurring. But it's not just that. I'm not just trying to cherry pick that. There's so many other examples. This is one of many. So listen, I don't think that it's far-fetched to say that getting coordination and cooperation with BRICS would be very challenging. And it's important to note, it's very important to note that BRICS does not have a currency that ties all of their ideas and their efforts together.
yeah, but they're in process of creating a currency. I don't know if that's still a thing, but they have plans of creating their own currency to use. So I don't understand how the conflict is like one of the major uh reasons for a lot of people, because a lot of people have said this over and over again. They kind of feel like all these countries combined, them coming from different locations, from the different economies, from different political systems, it would be difficult for these countries to kind of agree on one point. But I doubt if that's gonna be the situation. I just feel like, the information that is spreading right now is kind of proving how much of an impact this could be. But anyways, we are spectators, so we'll just see it unfold as time goes. I guess.
Building a BRICS currency would be a political project, to say the least. First of all, you have to get a banking union among the countries. You need a fiscal union, and you have to take into consideration equitably the macroeconomics of each country and their trade imbalances, and that's going to be a struggle. At the meeting last week, BRICS said that they are reviewing a few options, which includes using a basket of currencies from BRICS countries. Other options include using a new currency that's pegged to gold or a cryptocurrency. But there's a flip side to all this. There's a flip side to this story, and it's just like the iPhone story that I told you. This could be the start of a new era. Because you have to remember that BRICS already represents 40% of the world's population. BRICS also...
Yeah. I think I'm definitely gonna be subscribing to this guy's channel. He dives deep into the situation and tries to explain it the better way.
Which is going to include the biggest oil producers in the world. And they may gain enough momentum to make a difference. So let me know what you think about all this in the comments down below. I can give you my full opinion in a separate video. I feel like I have to dedicate a separate entire video for that. I just want to let you know about the situation. BRICS is expanding. If there is an impact to US influence in the US dollar, it's not going to be immediate. But again, let me know what you think. Please subscribe. I thank you for the support.
Yeah, let me just subscribe. You know, there's a video that I saw recently of a lady who was talking about how this whole situation will impact, you know, how they have to. So I just wanna and see. I think it might be very interesting. Because I have vision and all of that. I haven't just like took time to watch the whole thing.
With the de-dollarization, try and say that fast a few times this time in the morning, the de-dollarization. It basically means the use of domestic currencies for international trade now as well. Remember, we buy oil in the dollar as well. In fact, a lot of it runs through the dollar. Is it time to...
Most of the things that we buy are in dollar. Yeah.
Move away from that. Well, let's get the thoughts then of Nzalama Matabula, UJ Department of Politics and International Relations, on the de-dollarization. I'm never going to get that right. I feel like I'm stumbling over it. Morning, Nzalama. There's a lot to talk about, but can we talk, first of all, currencies? I mean, does this make sense? If you look at someone like you who looks at IR, looks at politics, is this seen to be in the realm of reality?
Yeah, before we conclude and, you know, just make our own decisions, I feel like it's always best to get different opinions from different experts and all of that.
So good morning, Gareth. Thank you for having me on the show. So firstly, I do believe that it would need a lot of dialogue for us to actually come to a conclusion whereby we'll have a BRICS reserve currency, because we need to understand as to what it will back it up, what commodities will be basketed in the whole currency. But at the same time, I do believe that the feasibility of dissolving the dominance of the dollar comes with using local currencies in order for us to facilitate trade amongst those emerging markets. So yeah, it is doable considering the global changing order, because we would need to first test it out, but at the same time it would need a lot of dialogue in order for us to understand as to how it will be implemented.
They should. I feel like they should like create their own currency, you know. I think it would be a very big move for them to create their own currency. Honestly, it would. Because, like she said, it's going to be difficult. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of dialogue. But it is, she said that it is doable to an extent.
Countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and us, of course, when it comes to the discussion around a de-dollarization, when it comes around to a discussion of the BRICS Bank, we're pretty low ranking on the BRICS ladder, aren't we? How much influence do you think we really have?
Okay, As an ad. But despite us low ranking and stuff like that, we are also gonna be a contributor. So I feel like it's important to also note that it's not only about that. I feel like all the parties that are involved should have like a common vote in this whole situation. Because if not, then it's gonna cause contradictions moving forward,
Most
particularly in decision making.
definitely, and I do believe that those are one of the dangers as to as much as we are circumventing and trying to counter this US hegemony, are we not getting ourselves into an Asian hegemony whereby South Africa and many of the African states will remain subordinates to the global currencies and superpowers. So I do believe that South Africa would be low ranked considering our GDP, but at the same time, as I said, that it would need a lot of dialogue. But I do believe that it would be more feasible for us to use local currencies as compared to having this common currency, because that would also be a surrender of sovereignty, and it would disrupt so much of our economic markets in the country, in individual countries.
When you now look at how this is going to play
Okay, so it's what she's basically saying. I didn't see it that way. It's us still having leverage in case they may raise a conflict. So us still having our power of the currency that we use will give us leverage moving forward. It's just like a backup plan in case things backfire.
politically in Zalama as well? Because right now we still have a very unique political landscape. The head of state is obviously also the head of the ANC. How is this going to get played out domestically, do you think? Because right now, best foot forward as far as the presidency is concerned. How does the ANC, in your mind, politically use this to go forward? Because agreements have been signed on electricity, which we know in an election cycle is probably going to get used for political gain, isn't it?
Okay, I'll just
Yes, most definitely, and I do believe that we should consider so much of the 2024 election, because as much as we might sign on agreements right now, but then the final determinants is on the people that will be in power next year, and with the possibility of a coalition, I do believe that it would have so much fragmentation, and it would need some consensus amongst political parties that we have within the country, but domestically. Considering South Africa, I do not believe that they would have the capacity to actually enact on this BRICS currency that is being talked about.
So he mentioned a very interesting point about ANC. I think this is the biggest problem we have in the country. Uh, and the elections that are coming next year. I'm just hoping that ANC doesn't disappoint us in this situation, because the biggest issue with ANC is the corruption and stuff like that. So I think we'll have to firstly fix our country, honestly. I will have to fix ourselves before making any major decisions in terms of BRICS. There has to be brand new policies in place for this whole situation to work out, because if we don't, then we will embarrass ourselves at a global stage. With having ANC and a party that it is right now, it's just it's a problem. Honestly, it's a big problem according to me. So if we can just firstly get our house in order before we move on to this whole BRICS things ish.